What's going on, everybody? You see a Jaguar back with GenJag.com, and the Jaguars currently sit at 10-4, and we have clinched a playoff spot, which is a very, very unfamiliar feeling for us fans over the last decade. But one more unfamiliar feeling is that the Jaguars have multiple Pro Bowlers in the Pro Bowl this year. We have 4 players, 4 defensive players. That's the most Pro Bowls the Jaguars have had since 1999. And in this video, we will discuss our Pro Bowl play. So the first 2 players are our excellent tandem of cornerbacks, the best duo in the NFL with A.J. Bouye and Jalen Ramsey. Now, these guys have been absolutely electric, and last year, Jalen Ramsey was a great player for us. And what generally happens when teams have one great cornerback is they'll pick on the other cornerback. Last year, they were picking on Devon House. They were picking on Prince Amukamara a lot. Jaguars saw this and said, hey man, we got to go get a stud to line up on the other side of this guy. So we went out and got A.J. Bouye, and he has been every bit of the free agent that we wanted and potentially more. I mean, he has just been electric. Jalen Ramsey himself has 4 interceptions. A.J. Bouye has 6 interceptions himself. And just the coverage that these guys have just allows Sacksonville to be Sacksonville. I mean, Jaguars have had so many coverage sacks this year. Just having this excellent duo of cornerbacks is just absolutely outstanding. And they are by far, I think, the best tandem of cornerbacks in the league. And it shows because both these guys got selected to the Pro Bowl, which is very, very well deserving from each of them. Now, the other Pro Bowl guys we got are along the defensive line with Malik Jackson and Calais Campbell. Now, we'll start off and talk about Calais Campbell. Now, a lot of times you see free agent acquisitions in the NFL, and they don't usually work all that well. You know what I mean? You'll get these guys, they'll come in. You know, they might be alright players, but you don't really expect them to, you know, really come together. You know, you usually maybe get 4 free agents. You'll hope that, you know, 2 of them are decent. One of them might be really good, and one just might not be very well. But just the additions of A.J. Bouye and Calais Campbell this offseason has just been outstanding. Calais Campbell himself, he has 14.5 sacks, which is leading the AFC in sacks. With that 14.5 sacks, he broke his own personal sack record in a season, and he also broke a franchise record in sacks. I believe the previous record was 11 or 12 sacks by Tony Brackens. He absolutely killed that record in the stat book by having 14.5 sacks, and he's been a real deal, man. I mean, Calais Campbell, I really didn't know too much about him before we acquired him, just because, you know, I don't really follow the NFC that much on the NFC West, you know, but he came to the Jaguars, and not only has he just been a terrific dude on the field just with his play, you know, he's just been an excellent leader. You know, every time you hear an interview with a Jaguar player talking about the Jaguars defense, they give props to Calais Campbell, and you know, Calais Campbell just, his intangible abilities just to be a great leader and a great player and just a great role model. You know, he's a pivotal part to our team because he's a guy that's been to the Super Bowl, but he hasn't won it. You know what I mean? He's been to the playoffs multiple times. So, with Jaguars about to make a playoff run, and, you know, I know he's going to be able to get these guys focused. He knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl, and he knows how much it sucks to get to the Super Bowl and lose, as well as, you know, get in the playoffs and lose. And Calais Campbell, just an outstanding player, really just a leader for our defense, and he's been every bit of that money that he's wanted. I mean, I remember when the Jaguars signed him, he decided to pick the Jaguars over the Broncos, and then the Broncos were out there saying, oh, he chose money over winning. Well, now look at the Broncos. The Broncos are trash, and the Jaguars are a great team. So, awesome that we were able to get to Calais Campbell in the Pro Bowl. And then right next to him is defensive tackle Malik Jackson. Malik Jackson has 8 sacks on the year, and he's been a really good player. And his play really picked up once we added Marcel Darius to the team. And, you know, he said himself that when they acquired Marcel Darius, he said, okay, you know, this coaching staff ain't messing around, man. I mean, you could be, if they don't feel like you're playing up to par, then they can easily get a guy to come in here and get that play. And then Malik Jackson, I think he took it to heart. He kind of said himself that, it kind of proved to him that he needed to step up. And, that's exactly what he's been doing. I mean, these last few weeks he's been outstanding. He's been a really important part to our defense. And this is another big money free agent that we got. 3 out of 4 of our guys were big money free agents. We got Calais Campbell and AJ Boye in 2017 free agency, and we got Malik Jackson as our big free agent splash in 2016, signing him to a $90 million deal. And, like I said, these free agency deals, they don't usually work all the time, but the Jaguars were able to really find some good players with this. You also add on guys like Deshaun Gibson. You also add on Barry Church, like those guys. It's great free agency signings for the Jaguars. When you look at potential Pro Bowl snubs, I really think 2 come to mind, and that's Yannick Ngakoue and Telvin Smith. And I think with these guys, like if they were drafted, I think it's just all name recognition. Like look at Telvin Smith, for example. I still don't think Telvin Smith is on the NFL map like he should be. But, if you look around the NFL, probably the common NFL fan, there's probably double the amount of people that know of Myles Jack as opposed to Telvin Smith. And that's just because, Myles Jack, he was a prolific college player. He was pretty much being touted as a first-round pick all throughout the draft. And, if you look at name recognition, a lot of people know who a guy like Myles Jack is, but they're not going to know who a guy like Yannick Ngakoue, who got drafted in the 3rd round of that draft, or a guy like, Telvin Smith, who was a 5th-round draft pick. And, he's played on some bad Jaguar teams for a while. So, I think definitely Yannick and Telvin Smith deserve to be in that Pro Bowl. However, they did get kind of snubbed. So, hopefully they can build on their seasons and next year just be able to have another, great year and then really explode onto the map. I think it'll be a lot easier for not Yannick Ngakoue just because pass rushers, they pad out the stat book and just get a lot more friendly stats. But you also maybe 2 more potential snubs were, like I said, Myles Jack and maybe Deshaun Gibson. I think Deshaun Gibson has played like one of the top AFC safeties in the league this year. He didn't do too well last season, but they changed up the scheme a little bit. Getting rid of Jonathan Cyprien and bringing in Barry Church just allows a lot more flexibility on the back end just because Cyprien is pretty much a box safety, and that's pretty much his position, his locked position. He's not very good at coverage, so it just really did not allow a lot of flexibility for the Jags safeties to kind of interchange and just do some different stuff. So, he's been flourishing in his role this year, and, Deshaun Gibson's been having a really good year. So, with all that said, Jaguars have 4 Pro Bowlers this year. Hopefully none of them play in a Pro Bowl, because if so, then that means we are going to the Super Bowl. Oh man, that'd be nice. Super Bowl, Jaguars. It's weird to say, but you never know. So, that's about the end of it. Let me know what you guys think about the selections and who you guys might think have gotten snubbed. And, it's definitely cool that we are on the, NFL map. 4 defensive Pro Bowlers, most amongst any team. And, just goes to show our defense is nasty. Number 1 in the NFL. We got a bunch of savages back there. So, with all that said, that's about all I got. This is UC at Jaguar with JenJag.com. Go Jags, and I'll see y'all on my next vid.
Once you're beating your opponent who's in front of you, physically and psychologically, they tend to get mad like that.